Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to BattleTech Heavy Metal, where as you can see I pulled some triggers, some spreadsheets were made, some things happened. The short version of this is, I bought the Gauss rifle, I bought the two extra ammo bins that we're going to need to run it, we are ready to outfit another mech with Gauss systems. I love that weapon, I'm very happy to have that. I was also able to complete another mech from our scoring list, the Jägermech 6A, or S, one of them, I don't know. I completed the one that we were close to but didn't have done yet. Because there was one part in the normal store and one part in the faction store. Then, I looked at the amount of money we had left, and the cost of that cataphract, you know, the 0X, the one with the electronic warfare stuff in it, and I was like, I bet we can make it. I bet we can buy that thing. So, I sold off all of the extra copies of mechs. We had a bunch of mechs that we had two of. I sold all of those. And then I went through and just did a whole bunch of counting and figured out we could comfortably liquidate about 4.6 million C-bills worth of components. Just like, I sold 160 medium lasers, and I sold all of our AC5s, and I kept everything. I didn't sell anything that has pluses on it. When I say I sold all of our AC5s, I mean just the base ones. We should still have absolutely zero equipment problems. We will never need a thing and not have a thing, but we had a lot of stuff we could afford to part with. And then, in order to make it work, I did have to sell off a mech that we didn't have more than one of. But that was not on the scoring list, just one of the extra ones from the newer content. So I figured, you know, that's score neutral. We lose a mech type, but we gain a mech type in the cataphract. And I really want to play with the ECM stuff. I think the electronic warfare system is really cool, and we're going to get to fiddle with it. So, that leaves us desperate for cash. Now, we don't have to pay people for another 29 days. This gives us a lot of time to fix that. It does put us in a little bit of a position, a little bit of a dangerous position, but I think we can figure this out. However, figuring it out is going to mean, being sure that we can figure it out is going to mean altering our plan a little bit. So let me talk about what we're about to do. In case it was not clear, because I'm realizing I might never have explained this all the way, the reason that I want to betray the Capellans, the reason we have to break our alliance with the Capellans, is that they are currently blocking us from getting maximum reputation scoring. If we mouse over this, you can see, for each point of positive rep with any faction, you get 100 score, and then this is capped at 40,000 points. So for each faction that you have at the maximum 100, you get 10,000 points, up to 4 such factions. The same is true for negative reputation points. There are exactly 8 factions that contribute to your score, so in order to max out your reputation points, you need to be at 100 with 4 of them and negative at 100 with the other 4. We cannot do that while we are allied with the Capellans, because the Capellans have too many enemies. You can see everybody who has the enemy marker here, our faction with them is capped at 0. So we could get at most 2 factions to 100, then we could score the full for negative 100, and then 2 of the factions would just be contributing 0 points to our score. Obviously, that's unacceptable. So we're going to break the alliance with the Capellans. We're going to work some of these guys up to 100. I'm not exactly sure who that's going to be. Probably the Federated Sons and the Pirates will stay at negative 100. We'll figure it out when it happens. But I don't think we can afford to break our alliance with the Capellan Confederation right now. In the most literal sense of that, we don't have the money to make that a viable option. The Capellans are the only people who give us reasonable work, and the only people who are willing to pay us reasonable pay. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to take a travel contract to fly to the nearby system of Vard. When we get to Vard, we're going to do all the work the Capellans will give us there, and then we can talk about betrayal and stuff. So we're 1 or 2 more episodes we're sticking in this alliance here. I don't know exactly how much work there will be, but we can see at least 2 missions. This is a fair amount of money here. Okay, also, hold on, we can talk about this other thing while we're in flight. I kind of screwed up when I bought the cataphract. I did a silly thing. 3.5 skulls? Let's just negotiate this. We're going to take this entirely as money. It's going to solve all of our money problems, and then we'll figure out everything else on the other side of this, right? I'm bummed out to be losing Free Worlds League rep, but we'll figure it out. Do I want to take this as... Yeah, I'm going to take this as all money. We're just going to solve the money problem right now, and then we'll figure out, like I said. So when I bought the cataphract, I had not yet figured out where in the bay I wanted it, which feels really dumb. and so I just had them put it in storage without thinking about it. And then I was like, oh gosh, I need to pull a thing out of the mech bay. And so, unfortunately, it took us a day to prepare the cataphract, and it doesn't have its default loadout in because I had them put it in storage, which means they scrape all the equipment out. So that's an error on my part. And we may not actually have enough money to get it building here. Oops. But let's have a look. Let's try to figure out how we would build this thing. So the electronic warfare equipment, weighs 7.5 tons. That only leaves us with 22 free tons to make like a real boy out of this weapon, or out of this mech. Now, what is the default loadout? The default loadout was an AC-5, a PPC, and 2 medium lasers, which honestly we would have changed. We would have changed significantly. I hate this loadout. We have one. Wow, it really doesn't have a lot of options though, huh? 1 ballistic, 3 energy weapon hardpoints. So, and 920 armor by default, so fairly light for its size. 70-ton mechs are big. So, if we wanted to throw in that Gauss rifle, the Gauss rifle we found is lower tonnage than a normal one. If we just decided, like, this is how we run Gauss rifles, we put them in cataphracts. This would let the electronic warfare, hold on. It has the ability to pulse sensor lock people, right? Active probe, pulse reveals enemy units and makes them easier to hit. The active probe is in a small area around the mech itself, right? So I don't know that we do want to outfit this thing for long-range combat. Maybe what we want to do instead is go like AC-10 instead of a Gauss rifle. What's the weight differential there look like? I didn't sell all of our AC-5s. I sold all of our some stuff, you know. I made a lot of sales. Listen, there's a big spreadsheet over on the other monitor. I don't remember exactly all, which of these numbers are all of the thing we were holding now. So this is only 12 tons. It would be lighter even than the improved Gauss rifle. We don't have a spare AC-10 with plus damage on it. We could mount an AC-20. It wouldn't be able to run much else. If we throw, let's say we throw plus accuracy AC-20 on here. We would probably want to armor up a little bit. We would probably want to put in... No, we can't do that. No, that's irresponsible. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. Okay. 2 AC-20 bins. You can see I sold off some, but not all of the ammo bins. That gives us 6 more tons to play with. We would have to put in some heat sinks if we wanted to mount any lasers, probably. Well, it could all be medium lasers, though. It also has room for some support weapons. So, like, there's... My feeling is the build of this thing is really calling for... you to play at short range. An LB-10X is 11 tons. We could do this instead of the AC-20. It could just run up to people and peel big chunks out of their armor. So that's 4 tons we would save there. You'd probably want to run or 3 tons we would save there. You'd probably want to run 2 ammo bins again. That's a pretty good close-range weapon. I really like these LBX autocannons. They're fun to use. If we did that, and then we threw like a couple of medium lasers on it, let's say we did something like this. If we went all in, the AC-20 generates 24 heat when fired. What's the LBX generate? Only 10. I'm actually starting to think maybe this is a good idea. Do you have to buy LBX? I can't remember. Do LBXs load off of standard autocannon ammo, or do they have their own ammo type? They do have their own ammo type. 8 rounds, so I'd probably want 2 bins, let's say. That leaves us at 6 tons remaining. And it means an Alpha Strike is 46 heat, which honestly is not that bad. Mech sinks 30 heat by itself every turn. If you throw in couple of jump jets. Let's say we're talking about probably just a couple of jump jets for like pre-mission climbing and stuff, because if we were going to give it enough jump jets for it to be like actually combat mobile, for it to fly well for combat purposes, then we're not leaving ourselves a lot of space to work with in terms of heat sinks and other stuff. I guess maybe we don't need a lot of other stuff, though. Let's say I want to put in some other weapons, too. So we have some support slots here. Just show me the supports. We have a couple of machine guns. We have a couple of small lasers, of course, but I think we'd want to probably watch the heat. So you can put in... We could put in 2 machine guns at half a ton each, and then 1 can of machine gun ammo, which contains 200 rounds. Machine guns fire 5-round bursts, so every time we fire, we're shooting 10 times, which puts this is 20 volleys worth of ammo. There's no way you get 20 volleys out of a support weapon, like, not even close. 2 more tons for the LB-20X ammo and 2 heat sinks, bringing us up to 36 heat sunk per turn base. Honestly, it's not bad. Obviously, it would be nice if we had an LB-10X with some pluses on it. But that's a fair amount of stability damage. What I like a lot about this setup, we don't have any mechs using machine guns now. But what I like a lot about this setup is the way that the LB-10X and the lasers together are going to tend to punch holes in things. Machine guns have super high crit chance. So if you can get a hole in someone's armor and you fire a machine gun into it, it's likely to damage components, like very likely to damage components. I think this is actually a really cool build. Let's try this out. Let's see if this is a fun mech. You know what we could do is we could armor it up by 2 tons. Instead of putting in heat sinks at all. Items cannot be... Oh, right. We are in transit. Well, we could buy the ammo. We could do all of the build except putting in the ammo, and then we won't be able to use it on this world, or at least not until we've let a day pass, because it'll probably only be 1 day to fix that up. So if we wanted to armor it up, it's actually very close to its armor cap. Well, except for the center. But like, let's say, in particular, we probably want to armor up the part where the ammo is. I think I would rather put all of the ammo bins on the same side so that we could try to cradle that side away from enemies, than have the autocannon ammo on one side and the machine gun ammo on the other side, because we want to limit the number of ammo explosions that are possible, right? So if we, let's say we went all the way to the top on the armor here. And then we could armor up the middle a little bit. What does it jump on people for? DFA damage 180, so it'll do 90 damage to each leg. So it already has the armor to absorb that plus a little bit. Maybe we just put more armor center. And then we do run a heatsink. We also could run some equipment in here. Like, we should probably have... If this thing's going to be as close to enemies as I think it's going to be, it's probably going to want a hit defense gyro. And then... that leaves us with 1 ton. Do we want to run a single heatsink? Or do we want to run, like... You could run a heat bank at 1 ton. So it increases the overheat threshold and the maximum heat on the mech. That's fine. What else could we do in 1 ton? We could run... No, you can't run an exchanger. And besides, this thing just doesn't run hot enough for the exchanger to make sense. It's going to be too little heat reduction. We could potentially put in an arm mod. It's not super likely that we're going to be throwing punches with this thing, but it does have support weapons on it. Remember, support weapons fire for free when you punch. And machine guns in particular are really nice with punches because a melee attack is a single large packet of damage that tends to break the armor on the part it hits, and then you just have that high crit chance firing directly into the hole. Maybe we want to run, like... The thing is, we don't have a good punch damage mod. Like, stability, extra stability damage is very who cares. How heavy are these? These are 2 tons. Yeah. That's a shame. I guess we just run a heatsink. And then, honestly, we probably do throw in the +5 melee damage mod, because why not? The LB-10X inflicts 40 stability damage. Yeah, trying to turn this into a knockdown mech, it's just not going to work, because there's too much, like, there's too few weapons on it that do stability damage. We'll throw that on there, because why not? And then a heatsink is fine. It could also be a 3rd jump jet, I suppose. Because right now it's not going to have huge heat problems. If we give it 1 more jump jet, there's more of a possibility that it could get behind somebody, or... I think I'm going to run the extra jump jet, actually. We're decent at managing our heat. We usually figure that out. And I'm putting those in the legs just so that they're less vulnerable. Like, mechs tend to take most of their damage in the upper part. The enemies don't shoot for the leg a lot. I shoot for the leg a lot, but our enemies won't. Do these DFA... Okay, this one has weight, this one doesn't. I'm going to go ahead and throw a minus DFA damage leg mod on it as well, since it's effectively free. Who knows? We might actually end up using it. Okay, it's kind of a weird build. But I'm excited about getting to use the electronic warfare equipment again, because we didn't really get to play with it all that much. It doesn't alpha all that hard, but it's a reasonably tough mech, and it has utility. Also, this build was nowhere near as expensive as I was afraid it might be, obviously. Okay, let's continue. We'll make it to a planet at some point here. It is a shame you can't buy stuff while you're in transit. Just, like, ship it to me. Put it on a really fast rocket and ship it to me. As you're working out on a machine in the Argo's gym, a small group of mech warriors clears equipment out of the way and starts setting up a makeshift basketball court. A ventilation seal ring apparently makes a fine hoop. Brass and Whiplash approach you. You gonna play this time, Commander? 2-on-2, you can be with Mooch. Oh, sure, everybody wants to be with Mooch. You know what? I'm going to play a friendly game. I don't need to embarrass my my crewmates. Obviously, Returned is incredible at basketball, as he is at all things. Your team loses the toss, which turns out to be an accurate omen for the rest of the game. In the final play, you try to pass to Mooch, but Brass intercepts, dishes to Whiplash under the hoop, who easily lays it up. After politely shaking hands, Brass turns to the crowd. "Huh, looks like I'm better than the Commander." Mooch groans. Yeah, if only you moved half as gracefully in a mech." The mech warriors continue hassling each other on the way to the showers. Okay, everybody's having a good time, except Mooch, who is bad at basketball and also life, presumably. Certainly bad at having nicknames. Mooch is a terrible call sign. So the missions that we're taking on this next planet suggest that obviously the planet's in the neighborhood of 3 to 3.5 skull difficulty, which means that we'll be able to accomplish whatever it is they have for us there relatively easily if we don't blood wheel, or of course, obviously, we're gonna blood wheel. So this ought to be interesting. We haven't really done a whole lot of mid-range fighting since we came up with the idea. I'm curious to see how it'll work out here. Oh, I know our situation is dire. Listen, I have a plan. Everything's gonna be fine. Also, we have this low G pool. Obviously, we are not ready to lay in more repairs here, so let's just continue on. Alright, please tell me there's a lot of high-paying jobs available. We will get there in a second, Darius. First, let's have a look at what other contracts there are. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, hoping for some good stuff. We know that there's about 2 million C-bills at least on the line, but I'm hoping we're going to see like 6 jobs. Hopefully, jobs that don't damage our reputation with people that we might actually want to be friends with after this. Because every time we lower our reputation with somebody, that means that many more low skull jobs I'm going to have to do with them to fix the problem. Okay. 5 jobs. I'm very pleased about that. That's really good news. So my guess is we're going to be on this planet for like 2 episodes. Okay. Many years ago, we fought a lengthy conflict with Merrick here in Vard. Recently, however, news has trickled in from a remote region of the planet. Enemy forces harrying regional transportation. Eyewitness reports describe very old mechs in colors from the conflict long since ended. You are to show these old mech warriors that the war is over for them as well, and by the war we mean their lives, obviously. Before we do that, I'm also curious. Let's go look at the store. Oh, there's a black market here. I can't imagine we'll be able to buy anything. Yeah, the pirates hate us so much. There's not even stuff here that's really that cool. How good is this flamer? Oh, that's the good kind. There, we could totally put together 330k for another flamethrower. Boost the dragonfly even a little bit more. There's actually kind of a lot of interesting stuff here. Obviously, we won't be able to buy most of it. Oh, +3 hit defense gyro. One of the best pieces of equipment in the game. We do not have 26 million, nor would I pay it if we did. Yeah, none of this stuff is really reasonable to buy except for that flamethrower. Super good Gauss rifle, super good pulse laser. Yeah, man, large pulse laser at 65 damage. That's an exciting weapon right there for 6 tons. LB 2X and LB 5X. That's honestly a pretty cool weapon. If that wasn't 2.6 million, we might try to put that together. It's like 6 times 12. That's actually a lot of damage for a 5-ton weapon that generates no heat. Huh. That's really cool. Okay, we're going to try to buy that flamethrower. Alright, let's go do the thing. And by let's go do the thing, of course, I mean let's go spin the wheel. I am playing with the controller again today because my arm is still bothering me. But we're gonna do kind of a weird hybrid interaction scheme here to allow me to still spin the wheel while also doing the controller thing. Alright, here we go. For this mission, we are going to give out some high fives. This is not good social distancing practice, but you know, listen, I'm not actually touching my friend. Everything's going to be fine. So we got to throw up some melee attacks. This means multiple mechs, at least 2 mechs must melee the same target. I think that should be very doable. The difficulty modifier on that is +0.5, I think? +0.5, okay. So we're allowed to run a 4-skull lance to make this happen. Let's figure that out. What does a 4-skull lance look like here? So it's a 4-skull lance, and we also want them to be, some of them to be fast moving. Well, the dragonfly obviously comes right to mind. Although maybe we'd be better off running the warhammer since we're looking at a situation where it's not super hot. And then if we're running the warhammer, that's going to be probably, I have no idea what our average weight is going to have to be to squeeze under 4 skulls or 4 symbols. If we also run the Orion, that puts us on 2.5 right there. Just out of curiosity, is a 75 cool here? A 75 is cool. Is this the Lance? We got 2 up-close, fast-moving mechs that can reasonably deliver the high 5. We have a couple of long-range stability fighters. Honestly, I like this quite a bit. I think this is okay. So, the Warhammer could potentially be piloted by Foxglove, because it doesn't need to have the best aim. Very much a jump up and let him have it type mech. And actually, the same is true of this Orion. My guess is, yeah, let me fill you in here. Let me get behind the curtain. You know what? Actually, let me finish making some decisions here. We'll talk about this at the loading screen. There's a thing I want to kind of soft announce here. The Orion could maybe be piloted by Steamfitter. Steamfitter still needs a lot of XP. He's not really developed yet. And then the hoplite could just be any person with aim. It doesn't have to be Cruise, and in fact, it probably shouldn't be Cruise. It should be somebody who has breaching shot if possible. So I'm thinking like Tire Fire maybe. Or Uncrackable. I guess Tire Fire gives us sensor lock. Let's go Uncrackable. And finally, in the Thunderbolt, a long-range mech that would probably benefit from multi-target. Doesn't really need breaching shot all that much. This is probably a mech that we want to be able to aim, though. Because it does have... Well, I guess it just has a normal large laser. I definitely need to do some rebuilding. We have a bunch of mechs that have non-plus parts because we didn't have the pluses when I built them that could be upgraded. We'll go ahead and throw tire fire on that one, I think. I think this is reasonable. All of us moving on the same initiative is not always optimal. It's sometimes nice to be spread out so that you can ensure some things about turn order, but I'll take it. I think we can probably do this way. We didn't really need a pilot with great aim for the Orion either, but I think the Orion's going to be the one that we're using to just like soak up damage. It'll be attracting the attention of our opponents. So, I'm thinking we're probably looking at a little break in the series soon. After we break our alliance with the Capellans, there's going to be a period where I have to just fly around to planets that are run by people who don't like us very much, and I have to do like half skull and one skull missions because when they don't like you, that's all they offer you to earn the reputation to start doing interesting missions again. So I think the series will probably take a short break around that time because there's going to be probably like 20 to 40 hours of me doing stuff that would be really boring on camera even with the blood wheel. That will probably happen right after we finish this planet. And in that little break, there's a DLC for Control, a story DLC for Control came out at the end of last week, and I'd like to hit that up. So we'll like do that for, I'm imagining, just a couple of episodes, and then we'll come back to this. Okay, so looks like we found our targets, Commander. Move forward, clear them out. Hey, what a surprise! Mechs are old and poorly maintained, so we're probably looking at bigger enemy mechs that are in poor repair, which is a thing we can totally handle. Also, worth remembering that... Oops, that's the wrong trigger on the controller. It's worth remembering that the Thunderbolt, despite being kind of a long-range mech ostensibly, is actually more heavily armored than the Warhammer, and so we may want to lead with it to some extent.
Move order received.
Also, having some little tiny bit of framiness here.
I understand.
That break will also be a really good time for me to like spend a little bit of time and make sure that all of our mechs are in reasonable states to fix up situations like us having non-plussed weapons where we could have pluses, and a Marauder of their own. And the Thunderbolt absorbing fire right away, which is exactly what we want. So that's a Marauder moving on 3, which means they have a plus initiative mech, probably. I mean, it could just be the pilot. He's a Vanguard pilot, so Vanguard is, I believe Vanguard is not Ace Pilot. We have Vanguards, I'm fairly certain of that. I don't remember which mix of skills that is. It might be Sure-Footing, Bulwark, and Heat Management, Coolant Fan. So, this guy is a relatively high priority. If only because he's the one who can see us. So that's a thing moving on 1. Okay, so they don't have a plus initiative mech then, because this would not be moving on 1 if they did. I'd really love to get close enough to figure out what it was that shot that autocannon at us. And also, obviously, it would be nice to get the transitive high 5 done early. So maybe what we should do is just like really rush this dude down. Oof, that's not... we're not really built for it though, are we? Or we're not positioned well for it. Yeah, maybe we just kill this guy. We worry about the high 5 on somebody else. Well, there's a big area of no cover here. That makes me a little nervous. Why don't we start with the Marauder? I'm not, I think, going to try to go for a headshot here. I guess I don't really want to get any closer. Never mind. Maybe I extremely do want to get closer. Oh yeah, I guess that... I should have lowered the camera earlier. The terrain is not conducive to me staying in the cover. Alright, well, we'll jump over here to be as far back as possible. And I think we're just going to give this guy the aimed shot. Right, straight to the torso. We could take off his AC5, one of his PPCs. And then he's very open to fire. Actually, what does his leg look like? His leg is pretty weak. Maybe we should blow that out and then just take him out while he's down. Yeah, we could totally do this.
Now let's see how you handle this. That hit something good.
Remember that in terms of salvage, we are not going to be able to take home anything we want to take home here. So there's no reason to try to preserve mech parts, but we may still take out both of this guy's legs, just because that's a very convenient way to deal with this particular problem. And ordinarily I would use the Warhammer for that.
What's the plan?
If it had a pilot who was better at aim shots. So let's see, you could move this far, or we could jump. Okay, right. 2 jump jets means that usually walking is a little bit better distance-wise. And we do have to close. Punching that Jaeger mech might be the way to go.
That hit something good.
Also, we accidentally tagged his head while he was laying down and the head was facing away from us. Frankly, hard to understand how that was even possible, so well done. I love it when my pilots do things that are utterly baffling. Alright, this should be completely trivial. We do not have to fire everything here. I'm going to turn off one of the LRMs. I think the laser's a good idea, because the laser will do the job in one hit, if it lands.
Time to die.
Okay. Also, the pilot was injured. So that thing's not getting back up. And then we may want to just have the Warhammer full sprint. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be valuable to try to shoot at that Jaeger mech with Bulwark up. This won't reveal that mech to me, but it's like it will still be able to shoot me. It has vision. So I think we probably want to just go ahead and run up. And I'm going to turn my side to it because the Warhammer took a pretty hard hit in the center already.
All right, let's see what this thing can do.
Try to show that arm to it. Okay, so it's an Orion. Starting to be able to recognize the mechs by silhouette again. And is that an awesome?
Minimal damage on that.
Okay.
We can do this. Let's go.
Alright, they do not like my Warhammer. Now remember, the transitive high five thing is just melee attacks. It doesn't have to be specifically punching. So if we have to use DFAs to get the job done, we will use DFAs to get the job done.
Awaiting orders.
How are we looking on range here? Oh, he's quite far away still. This is harder than it sounds. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. We could jump way out here, get ourselves 5 points of evasion. I'm a little scared that if I don't go for this right now, that Jaegermech is going to do something horrible to us. Because the armor is already starting to look a little thin on our poor Warhammer here. Maybe the better solution to this, though, is to have one of the other mechs do an aim shot on it. Just to push its initiative down, and then we can let other people set up for him a little bit. Thing is, I don't really want to do an aim shot on that. And how much resolve do we have? Only 52? Alright, I'm going to jump in. We gotta stay close, but I also am so nervous about getting this mech broken. We do have 2 replacement snub PPCs, so we don't have to be so scared about losing the parts it's made of. Alright, we're going to try this. We're not going to aim anything, we're just going to shoot him, and if he blows up, he blows up. But I shouldn't... Well, maybe I should not shoot, because I do have Bulwark. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to brace. We want to get close enough to make this happen. The Bulwark discourages the enemies from attacking.
Took a heavy hit there.
Oh, you're fine. Everybody can tell that you're faking it.
Waiting for orders.
You know we can see you, right? Let's
Confirmed.
go to the Marauder real quick here. I kind of want to see if I can knock the head off that Orion. I think I'm going to take the chance here.
Acknowledged.
Because Uncrackable's a good shot. The Marauder's got some powerful targeting tech. And imagine if we just didn't have to deal with this garbage anymore.
I'm on him.
Okay, he didn't make it happen, but he did manage to pierce armor at least, so we can make something else happen.
Reporting.
Alright, the Orion is going to just sprint into the open, I think. No, it's going to sprint into cover, in fact. Steamfitter doesn't have bulwark, but still. Alright, I see a high five in that thing's future.
Good to go.
So now I think we want to move the Thunderbolt up and just fire on the Orion, fire everything at the Orion, and hope to get through. There should be an ammo bin in that torso section, right? Oh, and also it only has 25 health left.
Affirmative.
Come on. Ah, not quite. Well, I'm seeing real thin center torso armor, too. This bodes very well for us, I think.
Minor. Let's get fired up. There's work to do.
So they're going to go first on 3. Oh, no, sorry, they don't, because we did an aim shot on the Orion. Well, I think that we should probably take the punch now. I guess if I do that, that's going to make the whatever mech we start the punch with way less tough. But I'm a little worried about that thing running away from us, you know?
Yup.
No, I'm just gonna go for this. We're not gonna go for the head this time. We're just gonna try to finish this off. Turn off this PPC.
I got you.
Okay, that mech's just about dead. My guess is that there are no definite pre-programmed reinforcements on this mission. This is a lance that is high level enough, or like high toughness enough, that I could totally see this being the whole thing for a 3.5 skull mission.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, you gotta throw a punch. I need you to come forward and punch this man. I'm a little concerned, looking at this situation, that we might kill him. I'm gonna throw the punch from the side. I think we could throw it from the back. I don't know. It will. Did you see that? Like, yeah. If I do it like this, it's highlighting the back arc, but this is definitely not going to the back arc. All right. Do this thing. This is going to leave his back armor exposed to the awesome, but it's only going to be for a minute. How thin is the back armor? Oh, it's thin. Maybe what we should do instead is delay until after the awesome's turn. That does give the Orion a turn as well, but I'm not too worried about that. So you should definitely go before we delay. Should back up a little bit. You should try to show your right side to the enemies, and you should absolutely, for sure, try to kill that Orion. I think there's a pretty good chance this is a kill. Okay, the frame rate also died,
Enemy down.
which is just like collateral damage, obviously.
You have orders?
And then you guys are going to reserve. How do I... Hold on, how do I do that? This, and then there we go. Okay, back armor shot on the Warhammer. Definitely scary, because the Warhammer doesn't even have good armor on the front part. Oh, and that awesome. He wants me to kill him so badly. That's what, you know what? We can do it at the beginning of next turn. But right now, we must make this happen. Who knows if we will get another chance to satisfy the glorious wheel.
Confirmed.
High five part 1.
Target's taking a critical hit.
And I think the Warhammer is going to be doing a punch in the back armor, which is why I wanted to make sure that this happened second, because this totally could just kill this mech. Here comes 120 damage of small lasers. Didn't quite get there, but he is lit up.
Go time!
Yeah, you better run. Okay, breaching shot, smart, definitely dead. How much center torso structure does he have left? 50. Okay, so it wasn't like super close. I think it's pretty obvious that the play now is this Orion comes around back here and guts the awesome from behind, because this is like a very easy shot. And it makes way more sense to shoot him than it does to try to punch him.
There in a jet.
I really do wish that the Narc Beacon was going in before the missile launchers. I might be able to fix that by like stripping the parts off and then putting them back on in a different order. Somebody told me about that once, how to affect the weapon order. I'll do a little research in the downtime.
We can do this!
Okay, extremely easy, because dude keeps his LRM ammo in the part where the engine is. Like, seems like a transparently bad idea. Am I allowed to punch him from this angle? Looks like. How do I make that happen? I don't know why it keeps... What part of this mouse motion is putting... Okay, so hold on. Click on him to initiate targeting for the melee attack. Then, there we go. Then, pick the location. Sometimes you double the high five. That's how good it was. You go aces high, then aces low, you know?
Mech destroyed.
Okay, yeah, like I said, that was totally 3.5 skulls worth of mech, apparently. Seems a little strange, but we're used to a very different class of mission. I think that there's a little bit of a discontinuity in the difficulty ratings, where like four skull and up are the gap between each difficulty is way bigger than it is at the bottom. Half skull to 1 skull is basically no difference at all, but 3.5 to 4 is considerable. 4 to 4.5 is bigger, and 4.5 to 5 is huge. Well, except on those occasions where the difficulties seem to mean nothing at all. Darius just tells you a number, and then it turns out to be something very different. Usually. What I'm saying is usually the differential, etc. Alright, we can definitely get at least one. Honestly, if it's as fast as that, we might even be able to get 2 more in here. We did take a tiny, tiny amount of structure damage. Let's go for... I think we want to go for Pincer here. Significant Davian force has dropped onto the planet and currently moving toward critical Capellan facilities. We cannot allow those facilities to be taken. Alright, I'm pretty good at destroying robots. There's actually just a huge amount of money on the line. You know what, let's do this one. And I think we'll probably take this one as all cash or almost all cash. And then our financial situation will be so comfortable, we'll be able to actually maybe do these differently. So our intelligence confirms a lance of pirate military units is engaged in maneuvers. This is an aggressive action, we've decided, and they didn't ask us first, so they really do have to live by our judgment. We don't have to take this as full, but then again, at 2.5, what are the odds that we're going to see a thing that we actually care about? Let me pop back over to the mech scoring list real quick here. So there's only 1 light that we care about. There's actually still 7 mediums that we do need parts from, and then 3 heavies. We're probably not going to see too many heavies here. This is kind of a tricky one, actually. I'm not really sure what to do. I'm gonna take 1 point of priority salvage, even though that's a pretty expensive point of priority salvage. And then, of course, also, we are going to spin the wheel. I still don't know how to stop it from refreshing every time. It's fine. Because in theory, the stuff that we've taken off should remain off for the rest of the episode, so that can't happen again. We're just gonna spin again. Okay, I do love justice. Is there anyone out there who doesn't just like love justice? So we will be shooting the weapons out of our enemies' hands to display our incredible firearm skill. This has no difficulty modifier because this is basically the way we usually play. But I thought it was Virtua Cop's fun, is what I was thinking. Also, I've been having the weirdest hankering to play Time Crisis lately. I don't know where to find a Time Crisis machine anymore. Just really want to play some Time Crisis 2. Alright, so 2.5 skulls is a little tougher. We do not have a huge number of light mechs available to us. 2.5 skulls, like we're probably going to have to run the Phoenix Hawk. It's a Badlands, so that's a little awkward, because this is not a time when we want to be running mechs that have heat issues. And a lot of our small mechs have heat issues. The Wolverine is... it's fine. We might be running the Penance mech on purpose. Let's run the Penance mech because it's a fun and useful tool. And we'll play, let's say, the Hatchet Man. Where does the Hatchet Man put us? That's going to be one symbol. We could probably toughen up a little bit. We suspect that there will probably be some smaller enemies. So honestly, maybe the Thumper should come out of... we haven't played this in a while. It has that AC 10. If we ran that, how light are we? 2? Okay, we're allowed to even go a little heavier. We could drop, say, the Phoenix Hawk for a Wolverine, or... because what's my armor look like? We have the Penance mech's relatively tough. Thumper's toughish. The Hatchet Man's pretty soft. So maybe bringing in something like this Wolverine to just like run at the enemies and be huge and terrifying makes sense. Out of curiosity, could I run the Thunderbolt? How much damage did it actually take? It was this side. It took 5. It took 5 total structure damage. If we ran this instead of, let's say, this thing, does that push us over to 3? It does not. Could we, hold on, could we run a 70? We could run a 70 if we're willing to do this. I mean, if we can run a 70, we run the Grasshopper, the Dragonfly, right? The Dragonfly is huge and terrifying, actually does really good damage. We put, like, Foxglove in the Dragonfly, and then Steam Fitter in the Hatchet Man makes sense if we're going to run a Hatchet Man. The Hatchet Man's still effective at a pretty long range, because remember, we have this thing outfitted with the UAC 5. Okay, we hit relatively hard here, and we have a lot of fire to play with. This should work. We should be able to flank enemy sides, shoot weapons out of their hands pretty easily with these big weapon mechs, and we have enough heat to get shutdowns. I guess I should figure out if these are the right pilots. They are probably not. This is probably a thing where we could afford to bring in some of these lower tier pilots who just need to be trained up. That said, every low aim pilot we bring in does slightly increase the difficulty of landing the shots we need. But you know, if you just shoot from the correct firing arc, you're going to get arm shots a fair amount of the time. So basically it's like Tiger Tail, Brass, and Chicken Hound are the ones that we really want to be pushing. And Foxglove, of course, because these are the sort of the B-string pilots. Since most of our old A-string died, and a lot of the old B-string has been moved up. I think we could run it like this. The Thumper doesn't need a tremendous amount of aim. We still have... Tiger Fire is probably not appropriate for the Penance mech. Well, I guess it has that PPC. Like, we actually could make use of... the Breaching Shot. Or maybe we want... If I wanted somebody with Coolant Vent on it, we could just run Cruise. Yeah, let's run Cruise. And yeah, this makes sense. Multi-target and Coolant Vent will be good for this. Okay. Each one of these mechs has at least one weapon that hits for like a reasonable chunk of damage, you know, 40s or 50s. So we can take reasonable shots at people's arms. The types of mechs we're likely to be seeing at this difficulty, 40 or 50 damage is going to be like a lot relative to the structure of their arms. So we should be able to knock some weapons out pretty well here. You know, it says on the description, the description I wrote for Justice Shot, the rules text, if you will, that you got to destroy an arm holding a weapon, but it probably should be that you have to destroy a weapon in an arm. Like, destroying the arm is fine. But the coolest thing, the most Justice Shot would be to destroy the weapon in the arm without removing the arm. That's just a thing that you can't reasonably do in BattleTech a lot of the time. I gotta say, I'm very relieved at how much money there is to earn on this planet, and how not lethal it is likely to be to earn it. Alright, we got him, Commander. Right out in the open. Just get eyes on him, take him out. Good hunting. Repeated... Seemed like kind of repeated dialogue about how easy this mission's gonna be, which makes me really nervous.
Don't need to tell me twice.
Like, very extremely nervous.
Of course.
This is gonna turn out to be a whole different kind of thing, isn't it?
Roger that.
Just he's setting us up, man. False sense of security. Uh-oh. I'm pretty sure we're seeing some... I think there's some ECM nonsense going on based on the noises we were hearing there. Well, we have a little bit of sensor locking ability. I'm actually going to reserve down, I think. We're going to let them come to us a little bit.
Holding for tactical advantage.
So I don't know what the hell their deal is, but I don't want to get shot. Right? I think that was the sound of something moving either into or out of an electronic warfare field.
Roger that. Standing by.
It's probably a little clearer to me than it is to you guys because I keep talking over it. Some kind of very unprofessional person.
You have orders?
Who do we want to go forward and get vision? I mean, we probably want the Dragonfly, right?
Let's do this.
Weirdly, it is one of the slowest mechs that we have out here today. It's so tough, though. We can probably hurl it directly at the enemies and just kind of let evasion do its thing.
Oh, yeah. You got it.
So we got a Centurion 9AL and a Catapult K2. The Centurion 9AL is a design that is on our list that we do not have completed. These things are operating at full armor, but they're also very hot builds. So we could probably do some of our old fire magic on these dudes. Do we want to just run like we could Inferno somebody right now? Boy, we are not in good Inferno range. Does Brass have sensor lock? Brass does have sensor lock. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is have Brass run forward a little bit. Yeesh. This is not... It really is a little bit, isn't it? We're not going to try to fire the mortar just yet. We'll just run up, do a sensor lock on the 9AL. The catapult's definitely more dangerous, but it's also a little bit easier to shoot already. Like, it only has the 1 point of evasion. And I think we can work on the 9AL. We can work on the 9AL's heat and then just shoot the other guy with, you know, conventional weaponry. Kill him to death.
On my way.
I think I'm also going to go ahead and spend a precision strike. And we're going to go for the arm, I think. Just, you know, who knows? Maybe we could get it. Maybe we could justice shot him with our PPC.
Special delivery.
But mostly the reason we're going for the same shot is to improve the hit chance of those Infernos. Okay, and then Steamfitter gets to take the Hatchet Man. We could probably sprint to those trees. Is that true? Ooh, I could sprint really close. Maybe that's what I want to do. Because the Hatchet Man's going to get to go first next turn, right? So we could sprint up now, and then next turn just come in at the side of that catapult. Okay, they got a 50-tonner in the distance. Yeah, this is just more than one lance worth of mechs all at once. I knew it. I knew it was going to turn out to be some kind of real problem. Alright. We could probably actually leave Hatchet Man hanging for a moment longer. It is unlikely that we're going to see real fire from the guy that we just put at 90 heat. So I'm going to have the Penance mech push this way. We're going to try to do the same thing to this guy.
Got it.
This thing does run hot when you fire the PPC. Okay, the PPC and the laser both went to the correct side. Or both went to the correct part. I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, we're unlikely to see any real fire from these dudes, and the Hatchet Man's out there looking pretty tough. I think we're gonna try to move Thumper up, and we don't have aim. I wouldn't want to, obviously, there's not really much of a chance of an accidental kill. I was going to say I wouldn't want to accidentally kill a thing and then fail our Blood Wheel objective. In addition to the Penance Mech, you know, we do have to, like, put forth a good faith effort here. But we're probably not going to kill this thing with random AC-10 fire.
Firing all weapons.
I went to the appropriate side, but I don't think it actually hit the arm. I think that was a torso shot. That's fine. I mean, knocking off the torso's not... It's kind of in the spirit of the thing. It's not exactly the thing. Okay, do we want to move... We could probably move the Hatchet Man now. Let's see. Steamfitter doesn't particularly need this to be in the thing. Can he get close enough to melee? No, he's just a little short of that. It would be kind of neat to run up and just hack the weapon out of his arm. You know, that definitely counts. It looks like I'm going to have to go in the open. So if I'm going to have to go in the open, we should do it like this and, like, commit super deep, get a ton of evasion. This is going to run a little hot. Also, okay, I was going to say we're closer than you usually want to fire an AC-5 from, but this will work.
Engaging jump jet.
And that arm's kind of messed up. Yep, those aren't pirate colors on those units. We are intruding on a joint pirate and pirate operation. Withdraw or you will be destroyed. Uh-oh, I think we might have accidentally procedurally generated a mission that makes Sumeri's dialogue not make sense. Those are, in fact, pirate colors. This mission is the pirates and also the pirates. Alright, well, I think the plan stands, right? Like, the catapult's the more dangerous of these two mechs. Its arm is very screwed up. Let's just give it to him and hope.
As you wish.
Okay, a little bit more leg damage than you want to see. We destroyed the PPC, that counts. That's the most justice shot thing that could possibly happen. Alright, that guy just passed the turn in the open, because he didn't want to do anything that would generate heat, and his heat didn't even come down by enough for him not to take heat damage. So that's pretty fun. I think we want to have the Dragonfly jump in. Can I jump in far enough to get a side arc shot on that guy? Yes, I can.
Firing jump jet.
I kind of want to give him some of the flamethrowers, just like turn his mech all the way off. Obviously, we have to be a little bit careful since we know that there's going to be a, we know there's going to be a pretty long battle ahead of us. You know what? I'm going to turn the flamethrowers off. This is a thing that could be a little bit easier to do, maybe. You know, just have, like, weapon groupings. I don't know.
Firing on target.
Okay, we stripped the armor, and we did damage the weapon in the arm. He also does not feel that he can, Yep, and there's the electronic warfare. Oof. And a Commando 1B, which is the one light mech that we still need the parts for. This is actually kind of scary. It's a lot of enemies. Well, we're doing a good job of stripping them of some of their tools, at least.
What's the plan?
Hatchet Man's running a little hot, so we gotta take it easy on the jumping. We already did the Justice Shot thing on you. I'm gonna... maybe we're just gonna take a tiny little move just to keep my evasion up. And we're just gonna shoot this guy in the side with whatever we can afford to shoot him in the side with, and hopefully get that arm off. This is not ideal.
As you wish.
That's gotta be enough. Are you serious? There was multiple weapons that landed. How is his arm still on? I guess some of that must have been to the torso? Oh man, this electronic warfare thing is going to be an issue.
Commander.
Okay, well if I go into cover, I do not get the side shot that I need, so I guess we're doing this. Okay, you. Lose your arm, please. Did that really... I didn't hit the arm at all. None of those 3 weapons went to the arm. Well, that's a shame, because now we're going to have to spend somebody's attack while he's down going at that arm instead of killing him. But we do our best. We do our best to do what the wheel compels. The good news is, we no longer need to be in that arc. We'll probably turn off the Infernos, right? Just shoot for him with the medium laser and the thing. Can I get into... I cannot, unfortunately, get into a bulwark position. But I can step up here and just try to absorb a little bit of damage. Pendant's mech hasn't been hit at all yet. Okay, so we're going to turn off... Oof, boy. We're going to generate a lot of heat here. We're going to be very unhappy. But I think this is right. We can always just cool and vent next turn.
Here we go.
Okay, we got the arm. We did it. We obey.
Another hit like that and you're toast.
It ran up to machine gun distance so that it wouldn't generate heat when it fired. That's pretty fun. Alright, Foxglove, you need to stomp this dude? Or maybe the right play is run forward and shoot for the other leg. How much health does that other leg have? 170. Not really where I want to be. Yeah, if we're gonna aim a weapon shot at him here, it's definitely just going center torso. Alright. Put yourself up in front. Volunteer yourself as a target. We'll turn off 1 medium laser. There's going to be a lot of punching in the near future. Okay, well... He's got 7 health left, man. So close, so close. So we need to get either somebody inside of the circle, right? Or we need to start using sensor locks. Dragonfly's going to take a beating this turn, but that's fine. That's why we put it up there. We really do need to lower the number of enemies we're looking at here, though. Like, in a real hurry. The blood wheel thing is definitely adding some difficulty on that front. So, who goes first? Well, the Hatchet Man is in an interesting position to actually try to chop a bit of this catapult off. Could we... Will it let me attack from the back? No, it will not. It will not let me attack from the back. If you're already adjacent to him, you have to attack from where you're standing. So, 110 is pretty okay if we hit the torso section. We'll carve that whole arm off. If we hit the arm, we'll go through most of the torso section. If we hit the leg, we would break the leg. Honestly, it's not bad. It's not a bad melee attack, and we do need a turn here to recover. So I think we're just going to go for this.
Engaging.
Alright, we hit the arm. It's not totally ideal, but... Also, headshot.
Critical hit.
Something to be said for weapons that fire that many times, I guess. You know, the Thumper can totally just drop a mortar in the
Yes, Commander.
zone here. What if we did that? What if let's run up to here. I might just shoot at the Centurion, to be honest with you, though. If I did want to drop the mortar. We cannot hit all the stuff we can see. The Raven will take a lot of damage from a mortar, though. And then the Trebuchet and the Commando similarly will take a lot of damage. I kind of wish I had moved the Penance Mech first, gone for the kill on the Centurion, because if we knew the Centurion was going to die... Oh, you know what? I feel confident it's going to die. Let's go ahead and drop a mortar in. Let's see if we can do some real damage to that Raven.
Fire downrange.
We haven't gotten to use this weapon in a really long time, so... Yeah, the Raven, I saw a lot of orange numbers on that Raven. I think it's, I think it's maybe having a tough time. Jesus. That thing is a problem.
Major armor loss.
Also, one wonders how it has the heat necessary to do what it's doing there. Okay. We gotta remember, it's a little bit dangerous to group up like that because you don't want to be enabling a lot of stray shots, but also I do want to get cover.
I read you, Commander.
And
Moving
we're close enough here that I get to fire my small laser. We're gonna coolant vent and fire everything. It's probably not 100% necessary, but I just want to make absolutely sure. This thing needs to not get back up, even if we roll poorly. Okay. One down. We need to lower the number of enemies. Uh-oh. Okay, that's not great.
I'm getting blown apart out here.
Well, the good news is that catapult's probably dead.
Yes, Commander.
So I'm just going to go do the same thing to it, right? I cannot punch it in this way, though. And maybe the better play is to run over here and throw a punch at the commando, because it's not likely to be able to withstand a punch from a mech this size, and the Dragonfly does have bonus melee damage as well. Yeah, it took a lot of damage from the thump. Not as much as I would have liked, actually. It did not, looks like we rolled pretty low on a lot of the sections. And this is that a side arc shot? Hold on. No, that's still front. So I guess we're not really justice shotting there, which is a real sort of damn it situation. What does your back armor look like? It's probably quite thin, right? You know, honestly, it's not that bad. For a mech that's designed to be operate at the range this thing's designed to operate at, they sure did make sure it was armored well. I guess the way they built it, they put machine guns in it, right? For exactly this reason. And the only way I'm going to be allowed to punch you is by running directly toward you, pretty much. I could come to... I mean, I don't want to punch him from the side that isn't missing anything. This is actually kind of tough. The blood wheel requirement here is definitely adding some real difficulty. Alright, we're just going to run around his backside and try to core him with fire. I don't like it. It's too much... with our heat as high as it is, we're going to have to... We're firing too few weapons to get anything close to a reliable kill. I guess I can just hope to get lucky with the ammo bin. Yeah, alright. That's relatively compelling. That's right, Foxglove does have coolant vent. Well, let's go ahead and fire the coolant vent. There's a reason I put him in the Dragonfly. Let's go ahead and turn on the laser, and I'm not going to give this guy the flamethrower because we're hoping he'll be dead before he can move again. Okay, we opened him up.
Critical hit, Commander.
Somebody else can try to finish him off on our next turn. Man, that thing has a lot of weapons on it for its size. Same is really true of the Commando, unfortunately. Wait a minute, if they got to move all their guys on 4, shouldn't I go first on 3? Aren't those the rules? I guess not. Really thought those were the rules. Can we back you up to a place where you are firing into the back arc of this guy, but you are not? Because we need to, obviously, we need to buy this. We need to buy the Hatchet Man some distance. We need to break enemy line of sight. We're going to give this guy what we can afford to give him. This should be a kill. Yeah, there we go. Even without an explosion.
Hostile removed.
Alright.
They've got a lock on me.
That's pretty annoying. They really don't want to let him get away.
Orders?
Thumper's still in good shape, so... The Raven is a great coward, and it is trying its best to keep us out of range of its thing. This Phoenix Hawk should, in theory, not be able to do a lot of shooting. It's a pretty, I'd say, pretty hot running build. We can just fire into the side here. Can I get a point of evasion? No. Nowhere I move will provide me with a point of evasion, so I may as well just stand still. And I mean, the Thumper's in a reasonable... Oh, except... Hold on. My shot is obstructed here, and I think it might not have been... Yeah. I can clear that rock. And I can fire everything. Do I bother aiming? I have 80%, so this will keep the... Yeah, this is probably worth doing. That arm has got to be pretty thin. Actually, that's a remarkable amount of armor. Okay, yeah, they are having to skip turns because their mechs run too hot, which is good for us. Don't want to give them the Infernos. Can't fire the medium laser. Or rather, we can fire the medium laser, but we have to not fire the PPC. Boy, this is not good. Yeah, I think we gotta turn off the PPC and give him everything else, because we can make it so this guy can't comfortably shoot. That's no problem at all. And I'm gonna continue to do good faith attempts here. We are trying real hard to fulfill our goals. I'm gonna tell you something. If that arm comes off due to torso damage, I'm counting it. I'm gonna be okay with it.
Good to go.
Okay, Dragonfly's got to approach, and it has to do so a little carefully. So I guess this isn't too bad. That looks like a normal... No, I cannot quite walk into the trees. Alright, I will sprint over here into the trees, and then we'll have a cooldown turn for a second here. When he jumps over in a second, we're going to have much better vision and targeting. Actually, it looks like they walked the Raven forward enough for him to be in the vision zone. Which is a weird thing for them to do. Oh boy. Okay. No hits in the unarmored areas.
Internal damage.
So we have vision. We could probably kill this Raven. If, boy, heat is a real issue. Probably kill this Commando. This might be a good time to go for some more melee attacks, actually. An 80 damage melee attack will definitely take that arm off. Does that arm have a weapon? Yes, that totally counts. Get him.
On the move. Attempting physical attack.
Straight through the arm. Justice Axe.
Connection, that one.
It was a sequel to Golden Axe. It was a crossover. Well, there goes my arm. I was using that.
I'm losing weapon systems.
Hold on. What exactly did you lose, though? Okay. A bunch of unupgraded stuff. So it's obviously it's bad. It's we are definitely running at maximum speed away type bad. We can do this. Actually, I need to land with my... No, I need to land with my right side facing the enemies. We're gonna turn just enough to be able to shoot the AC-10 at that, the UAC-5 at that Phoenix Hawk.
Confirmed.
I should be well outside of anybody's vision or firing range, and only my long-range weapon will work here. And it won't, so I'm gonna brace.
Good to go.
I sure would hate to lose Steamfitter at this critical moment because of weapon dumb. This is a bad time for weapon dumb. Right, I'm gonna do this move. So gets the penance mech out in the open. Potentially draws some attention.
You betcha.
And then we're gonna... We actually have... We have arm open from a lot of people. The trebuchet has a little bit of weakened side structure. Does have weapons in the right arm. Obviously the Raven would be a great kill, though. Yeah, let's... Do we want to fire the Infernos? Do I even want to bother? I guess... Yeah, we can turn this thing off. I wonder if you shut down an electronic warfare mech via heat, does it lose its electronic warfare stuff? Or does it turn off temporarily? It sure does. Hey, that's a solution. Well, solution's a big word. That's a thing that makes stuff slightly better. Alright, let's jump in. Heat is still a little bit of an issue for you. But only a little bit.
Firing jump jet.
So we're going to commit deep, and the question is, do we want to go for the Phoenix Hawk? Because we can afford to fire all the weapons, or do we want to just try to put down the Raven now while it's weak? I mean, it's always weak, and it's going to be stationary. I probably want to work the Trebuchet, actually. As much as I don't love that. Really? I'm just very slightly over? Well, okay. We are going to turn on the flamethrowers, though, for this one.
Here we go.
Okay, we got through. I think, based on the way that works and the way that timed out, I think I might have failed to destroy the arm very narrowly, and then the heat pushed the structure count over. Interesting that the grasshopper... Okay, that's a fairly big punch. But it's interesting that the grasshopper being inside the ECM range doesn't actually reveal the thing if it's not my turn. Like, because I didn't move in.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, Steam Fitter. You can still contribute a small amount from a great distance. Does this commando have weaponry in that? Oh, you know what? We don't have to justice shot the commando. The commando is already justiced. You can just shoot him in the back, which is the most just kind of attack. Everybody knows that. Yeah, this should work. I shouldn't even have to aim this.
Knocked on rear armor. Target eliminated.
Alright, one more down. Maximum justice. Alright, so we can move one of these two into the ECM range. Earn ourselves a little bit of vision of the Raven again. Can't get a side arc shot on that guy over there. And it looks like it's tough to be in cover and also be able to shoot the trebuchet, unfortunately. This is what I'd really like. We might have to settle for being a little bit further away from the rest of the enemies. But, like, breaking that trebuchet's arm off... Oh, no, that's right. We got the trebuchet's arm. We could work on the Griffin's arm. Not totally ideal with him having bulwark. The justice shot is actually kind of a pain in this particular case. Could I just melee him in the arm from cover? That's not horrible. It's guaranteed not to work, though. I might be able to do some damage, but we definitely won't get the kill. Well, who do we still need to take an arm off of? We still have to do the Phoenix Hawk. We still have to do the Griffin. We still have to do the Raven. Everybody else is lit up already.
What can I do for you?
Let's have the Penance mech run over here, and we don't have coolant vent. We can fire just a medium laser at this guy, I guess. We could just give the Griffin all the Infernos, but I don't know that that's going to help that much. He's already punching me, right? We could do another heat shutdown on the Phoenix Hawk. Yeah, let's do that.
Coordinates received.
We'll not even fire the medium laser. I'll give myself a little bit of a break on the heat. We'll just heat shut down the Phoenix Hawk. And then we'll figure his stuff out later.
Commander.
You can run up and put all of your weapons into this guy's arm, and hopefully that'll... There we go. Moving a new unit into the zone did re-reveal the Raven. I'm actually behind the Raven. So that's pretty non-ideal. Alright, let's try to work on this guy. This is maybe not gonna... Yep. Not actually that good of a shot. It's a real problem.
Battle mech power-up detected.
Okay, we'll be able to turn the trebuchet back off, so I'm not too stressed about that.
Waiting for orders.
You can run over here and try to help with the Griffin situation. Or we can try to just kill the Raven. So if I don't kill the Raven, it is going to get to act. Yeah, as much as I'm enjoying having Bulwark, I'm wondering if maybe we should back up a little bit so as not to be so punchable. And Foxglove doesn't have great accuracy, so if I move out of the side firing arc, we might be in a little bit of trouble. We don't have Coolant Vent for another turn, so a big jump is going to mean we don't get to fire much in the way of weaponry. Oh man, I hate to say this, but we might be in a situation where I have to just run up and punch this damn thing. I'm signing myself up to also get punched a whole lot here. But my back armor is not really available. I'm gonna go for it. Punch pretty hard.
Copy that. Putting my weight.
Wow, he went all the way through. He went through the right side all the way into the center.
Hostile eliminated.
Turns out the flamethrower fire was a little superfluous.
Power-up detected.
I should have done the math there. I probably could have figured out that that was going to be a kill even if it didn't hit the torso. Alright, so... It would be unlikely for us to turn the Griffin off. We could turn off the trebuchet.
Waiting
The
for
heat
orders.
on that's a little higher. The Griffin definitely just has, like, less dangerous systems. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the trebuchet, I think. The Griffin's weapon loadout is just, like, really bad. And actually, I could at the same time be doing damage to it. Let's go ahead and hit the coolant vent, turn on all the weapon systems, and really let loose. So he has a fair amount of health in his leg. Maybe I should aim? You know what? Let's save the resolve.
Time to die.
A lot of that did go to the leg, which I was hoping it would not. It's pretty messed up, though, if we're thinking about this in terms of what a virtual cop justice shot is. To melt a guy's arm off is maybe not in the spirit of the thing.
Reporting.
Alright, you... Probably just gonna have to aim to have any chance of hitting this guy's arm. We should probably close in just a little bit. I kind of want to stand in the mineral field for obvious reasons. Yeah, and if we're aiming anyway, I may as well just accept this damage. Or accept this low hit chance.
Confirmed.
Okay. Both of those shots hit the appropriate part. Both of his weapons are on this side, right? Yeah, okay.
Orders.
This is a situation where the Thumper could, in theory, get the job done, except for the heat issue.
Good to go.
A little worried that we might overheat. No, okay, we're fine. I'm gonna spend the resolve here to try to get the precision strike. She is not very good at these.
Copy that.
Okay. Hey, that's justice right there. A man walks up to you and punches you in the forest. You are allowed to rip his arm clean off. That's the law.
Let's do this.
That's what it says in the Bible. Am I just punching this thing in the hopes of repeating my incredible maneuver from last time? Or should I maybe... Maybe we should throw a punch at the Griffin and try to, like, really overheat it? I'm a little worried about our position, obviously. Maybe the smart move is get way the hell out of here and fire on this guy. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not the damaged arm, though. Can we... Well, that's where I can get bulwark from, so we'll just start working on his other arm. It's a Phoenix Hawk, you know, his armor's not that heavy. Alright, fine, we'll vent the coolant. I was an overheat without even all the weapon systems turned on. It's definitely something we gotta do something about. Okay, pretty good start. Alright, I think it is now open season on all of our enemies. We did it. Wow, that's a hell of a move speed. Okay, we gotta be pretty careful about our right side. It's starting to look a little bit damaged. The good news is that Griffin no longer has defenses up and his back armor is exposed. So, unfortunately, we don't really have a great...
Yes, Commander.
We don't have a great ability to take advantage of that. He has only 125 center torso back health. Center back torso health back. So obviously we're going to run up, we're going to spend a precision strike here to knock him down some initiative so that all three of our mechs get to go before he does. And we're just going to do our best to break his stuff from behind before he can do any more harm. Alright, not too bad. Not too worried about that one. Boy, this mission took a minute, huh? A little bit longer than I was expecting. Let's see, we could just turn off the Phoenix Hawk. I guess we don't have to anymore, though. His weapon systems are not really all that dangerous. If I turn off my Infernos, we can... Oh, I want the PPC. How much damage was done to his center? There's 100 health left, so we can't kill him anyway. I am inclined to not spend the resolve.
Hey, buddy, behind you.
Yeah, she just figured it out. She just hits the center anyway, because she's a champion.
Awaiting orders.
Alright, Steam Fitter is getting the aim. Looks like this is an unobstructed shot. AC-5s have very impressive range. Especially if you're willing to precision strike all of your shots. That's pretty good.
The angle. Taking the shot.
Oh, it didn't hit the right...
Reporting. Critical hit.
Shot went wide. Now my dude has 5 health left. Also, the poor Thumper actually took a hit there. Alright, well, because we aim shotted twice, he wasn't able to do anything, so we do get to just finish him off with this. It's a real shame we had to. So I want to move over here and show my left side to that Phoenix Hawk as much as possible. We do not get to aim here, so let's just hope. First of all, flamethrowers, very superfluous in this situation. And ammo's very limited. Alright. Any weapon hits at all. To the center. Okay. Also, we killed his right torso just for the hell of it. Just to show him we mean business. I don't know that we've ever had a mech get meleeed this number of times before. You don't really have the opportunity to get meleeed a large number of times in most battles. It is usually the case that if you get punched more than, like, twice, your mech is dead. So,
Yes, Commander.
it's a little bit of an unusual situation. So that's the Trebuchet. It has still an LRM-15 on it.
Reporting.
Well, I mean, let's... We're going to precision strike. We're going to do it with the Hatchet Man. Right, the Hatchet Man makes the most sense. So I guess let's just try to punch through here. Okay, there we go.
Solid connection on that one.
That right there, maximum justice.
Waiting on you, Commander.
And then the Thumper can run up here and shoot this guy in his side, in his open side.
Moving to
But
position.
heat is definitely starting to be an issue. I can't turn this on, right? Oh no, I can just barely. Okay, yeah, let's do this.
Targeting for an alpha strike.
Did I just hard miss with the good weapon? I did. That's a shame.
Good to go.
Well, it doesn't feel like... Man, he shouldn't have the movement necessary to run up and hit us, but my concern is that he will somehow. That said, I think we
Don't
really
need to tell me twice.
gotta try to build up some heat on this Phoenix Hawk. I know it has none right now, and we can't shut it off with just this, but we can shut it off on the Dragonfly's turn.
Tell me what to do.
Okay, you do not have the distance to make that work.
Waiting for orders.
Dragonfly is gonna just throw a punch, I think. I know this is a little bit dangerous in terms of controlling that guy over there. Oh wow, I punched the rest of his guns off. No, sorry, not quite. That small laser must be in his center? Yes, it is. Okay.
Done.
Thank you for doing that instead of taking a useful turn, which makes it more possible for me to kill your man. So how much health does the Trebuchet have left? It actually has taken no center torso damage aside from the overheat. So,
Awaiting orders.
not totally trivial to kill it. And somehow, there we go. I was going to say, somehow we can't get the back armor? It's wild. Of course we can get the back
I
armor.
understand.
This is going to be our only aimed shot, but again, we got to do this to push its initiative down.
Target acquired. Locked in.
Okay. Five structure left. Nobody else is going to be able to
I
actually
hear ya.
hit that. Is it? Ooh, it's not zeroed out on heat. It's actually possible for me to kill it through heat damage, which is not a thing that you see happen very often.
Time to die.
Yeah, if we
All out of SRM, Commander.
pushing his heat up to the shutoff threshold or above the heat threshold did 10 center torso damage and killed him.
Moving out.
That's pretty cool. You don't get to see that all that often.
Engaging.
But you are just devoted to shooting every part of this guy except the important part, huh? Well, I think the Dragonfly can just do the same thing again. That said, I could probably also move to the side and shoot him. Probably smart to do that. Because a punch from the front is actually not guaranteed to get the kill.
On my way.
He's still got some armor on that leg, and the punch could go to that leg. Once again, potentially needed the overheat damage to get the kill. It's been a weird mission.
Mission successful.
Alright, we took more damage there than I thought we were going to. On the whole, not a great performance considering the very low difficulty level there. It's like we're doing stuff that's bringing us down to their symbol level, but easier missions are still easier, you know? Alright, well we have a couple of pieces of mech salvage that we might want to take. It looks like there is nothing else of value here. So, the C9AL and the Commando are both valuable. I don't know that it matters really which one we grab now. Oh, we got both of them. That's fantastic. It's actually super lucky. I guess there wasn't really that much loot on the table. It's still lucky. It's not as lucky as some of the pulls we've had. Okay, well that was a nightmare, but We are good. We are now down to 3 missions, I think, on this world. Before we take a little camera break, I'm going to be playing BattleTech more, if anything. But I hope nobody minds the time skips here and there. We've really not done any so far, and we're 70 episodes into this series, and I just really don't want this to be 140 episodes long, you know? There's other things that I would like to come out on the channel at some point here. So, we're a little torn up. We might have to take a break, a little repair break. We got 3 missions left, and I'm just gonna say it. This is a long episode. This is longer than I usually like them to be. I'm committing to doing all 3 of those missions next episode, so the next one might also be quite long. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, when we got a whole lot of robots to blow up. And we'll see you then.